nationality.
Consider you what services he has done for his country.
Very well, and could be content to give him good report for it, but that he pays himself with being proud.
Nay, but speak not maliciously.
I say unto you, what hath he done? Famously he did it to that end. Though soft conceived, men be content to say it was for his country. He did it to please his mother and to be partly proud, which he is even to the altitude of his virtue.
What he cannot help in his nature, you account a vice in him. You must in no way say he is covetous.
If I must not, I need not be barren of accusations. He hath faults with surplus to tire and repetition. What shouts are these?
Woo!
The other side of the city risen. Why stay we prating here? To the capital!
Come, come!
Soft! Who comes here?
Worthy Menenius Agrippa, one that hath always loved the people.
He's one honest enough. Would all the rest were so.
What works, my countrymen in hand? Where go you with bats and clubs? The matter? Speak, I pray you.
Our business is not unknown to the Senate. They have had inkling this fortnight what we intend to do, which now will show him in deeds. They say poor suitors have strong breasts. They shall know we have strong arms, too.
Why, masters, my good friends, mine honest neighbors, will you undo yourselves?
We cannot, sir. We are undone already.
I tell you, friends, most charitable care have the patricians of you. For your wants, your suffering in this dearth, you may as well strike at the heaven with your staves as lift them against the Roman state, whose course will on the way it takes, crackling 10,000 curbs of more strong link asunder than can ever appear in your impediment. For the dearth, the gods, not the patricians, make it. And your knees to them, not arms, must help. Alack, you are transported by calamity thither where more attends you, and you slander the helms of the state, who care for you like fathers, when you curse them as enemies.
Care for us? True indeed. They ne'er cared for us yet. Suffer us to famish, and their storehouses crammed with grain. Make edicts for usury to support usurers. Repeal daily any wholesome act established against the rich, and provide more piercing statutes daily to chain up and restrain the poor. If the wars eat us not up, they will. And there's all the love they bear us.
Either you must confess yourselves wondrous malicious, or be accused of folly. I shall tell you a pretty tale. It may be you have heard it, but since it serves my purpose, I will venture to stale a little more.
Well, I'll hear it, sir. Yet you must not think to fob off our disgrace with a tale. But, an it please you, deliver.
There was a time when all the body's members rebelled against the belly, thus accused it, that only like a gulf it did remain in the midst of the body, idle and unactive, still cupboarding with the viand, never bearing like labor with the rest, where the other instruments did see and hear, devise, instruct, walk, feel, and mutually participate, did minister unto the appetite and affection common of the whole body. The belly answered.
Well, sir, what answer made the belly?
Sir, I shall tell you. With a kind of smile, which never came from the lungs, but even thus, for look, I tell you, I can make the belly smile as well as speak, it tauntingly replied to the Discontented members, the mutinous parts that envied his receipt, even so most fitly as you malign our senators, for that they are not such as you.
Your bellies answer, what? The kingly crowned head, the vigilant eye, the counselor heart, the arm our soldier, our steed the leg, the tongue our trumpeter, with other monuments and petty helps, in this our fabric, if that they...
What then? For me this fellow speaks. What then? What then?
Should by the cormorant belly be restrained, who is the sink of the body...
Well, what then?
The former agents, if they did complain, what could the belly answer?
I will tell you. If you'll bestow a small of what you have little patience a while, you'll hear the belly's answer.
You're long about it.
Note to me this, good friend. Your most grave belly was deliberate, not rash like his accusers, and thus answered. True it is, my incorporate friends, quoth he, that I receive the general food at first, which you do live upon, and fit it is, because I am the storehouse and the shop of the whole body. But, if you do remember, I send it through the rivers of your blood, even to the court, the heart, to the seat of the brain, and through the cranks and offices of man, the strongest nerves and small inferior veins, from me receive that natural competency whereby they live. And through all that at once, you, my good friends, thus says the belly, mark me.
Aye, sir. Well, well.
Yeah, though all at once cannot see what I do deliver out to each, yet I can make my audit up, that all from me do back receive the flower of all, and leave me but the bran. What say you to it?
It was an answer. How apply you this?
The senators of Rome are this good belly, and you the mutinous members. For examine their counsels and their cares, digest things rightly touching the weal of the common, you shall find no public benefit which you receive, but it proceeds or comes from them to you, and in no way from yourselves. What do you think? You, the great toe of this assembly.
I, the great toe? Why the great toe?
For that, being one of the lowest, basest, poorest of this most wise rebellion, thou goest foremost. Thou rascal, thou art worst in blood to run, leadest first to win some vantage, but make you ready your stiff bats and clubs. Rome and her rats are at the point of battle. The one side must have bail. Hail, noble Marcius.
What's the matter, you licentious rogues, and rubbing the poor itch of your opinion makes yourself scabs?
We have ever your good word.
He that will give good words to thee will flatter beneath a pouring. What would you have, you curs, that like nor peace nor war? The one affrights you, the other makes you proud. He that trusts to you, where he should find you lions, finds you hares, where foxes geese. You are no surer, no, than is the coal of fire upon the ice, or hailstone in the sun. Your virtue is to make him worthy whose offense subdues him, and curse that justice did it. Who deserves greatness deserves your hate, and your affections are a sick man's appetite, who desires most that which would increase his evil. He that depends upon your favors swims with fins of lead, and hews down oaks with rushes. Hang ye, trust ye, with every minute you change in mind, and call him noble that was now your hate, him vile that was your garland. What's the matter? That in these several places of the city you cry against the noble senate who under the gods keep you in awe, which else would feed on one another. What's their seeking?
For corn at their own rates, whereof they say the city is well stored.
Hang 'em, they say. They'll sit by the fire and presume to know what's done in the capital, who's like to rise, who thrives, and who declines. Side factions and give out conjectural marriages, making parties strong and feebling such as stand not in their liking below their cobbled shoes. They say there's grain enough, but the nobility lay aside their wrath and let me use my sword. I'd make a quarry with thousands of these quartered slaves as high as I could pick my lance.
Nay, these are almost thoroughly persuaded, for though abundantly they lack discretion, yet they are passing cowardly. But I beseech you, what says the other troop?
They are dissolved. Hang 'em. They said they were an hungry, sighed forth proverbs. That hunger broke stone walls, that dogs must eat, that meat was made for months, that the gods sent not. Corn, for which the rich men only. With these shreds they vented their complainings, which being answered, and a petition granted them, a strange one, to break the heart of generosity and make bold power look pale. They threw their caps as they would hang them on the horns of the moon, shouting their emulation.
What is granted them?
5 tribunes to defend their vulgar wisdoms of their own choice. One's Junius Brutus, Sicinius Vellutus, and I know not, Sedeth. The rabble should have first unroofed the city, ere so prevailed with me. It will be in time when upon power, and throw forth greater themes for insurrections arguing.
This is strange.
Go, get you home, you fragment.
Where's Caius Marcius?
Here, what's the matter?
The news is, sir, the Volskis are in arms.
I'm glad, aunt. Then we shall have means to vent our musty superfluity. See our best elders.
Marcius, 'tis true that you have lately told us the Volscier are in arms.
They have a leader, Tullus of Phidias, that will put you out to it. I sin in envying his nobility, and were I anything but what I am, I would wish me only he.
You have fought together?
We're half to half, the world by the ears, and he upon my party. I'd revolt to make only my wars with him. He's a lion that I am proud to hunt.
Then worthy Marcius, attend upon communists to these wars.
It is your former promise.
Sir, it is. And I am constant, Titus Laertius. Thou shalt see me once more strike at Tullus's face. What? Art thou stiff? Standest thou?
No, Caius Marcius. I'll lean upon one crutch and fight with the other, ere stay behind this business.
Oh, true bread!
Accompany to the capital, where I know our greatest friends attend us.
Lead you on. Follow Cominius. We must follow you, right worthy you priority.
Noble Marcius.
Hence, to your homes. Be gone.
Nay, let them follow. The Volskis have much corn. Take these rats thither to gnaw their garners. Worshipful mutineers, your valor put well forth. Pray, follow.
Was ever man so proud as this Marcius?
He has no equal.
When we were chosen tribunes for the people.
Marked you his lip and eyes?
Nay, but his taunts.
Being moved, he will not spare to gird the gods.
Bemock the modest moon.
The present wars devour him. He has grown too proud to be so valiant.
Such a nature, tickled with good success, disdains the shadow which he treads on at noon. But I do wonder, his insolence can be brooked to be commanded under Cominius.
Fame at the which he aims, in whom already he's well graced, cannot better be held nor more attained than by a place below the first, for what miscarries shall be the general's fault. Though he perform to the utmost of a man, and giddy censure will then cry out of Marcius, oh, if he had borne the business.
Besides, if things go well, opinion that so sticks on Marcius shall of his demerits rob Cominius.
Come, half of all Cominius's honors are to Marcius, though Marcius earned them not, and all his faults to Marcius shall be honors, though indeed or not he merit not.
Let's Henson hear how the dispatch is made, and in what fashion, more than his singularity, he goes upon this present action.
Let's along.
So your opinion is, Ophidius, that they of Rome have entered our councils and know how we proceed.
Is it not yours? Whatever hath been thought on in this state that could be brought to bodily act ere Rome had circumvention? 'Tis not 4 days gone since I heard thence. These are the words. I think I have the letter here. Yes, here it is. They have pressed to power, but it is not known whether for east or west. The dearth is great, the people mutinous, and it is rumored Cominius Marcius, your old enemy, who is of Rome hated more than of you, and Titus Lartius, a most valiant Roman. These three lead on this preparation. Whither 'tis bent, most likely 'tis for you. Consider of it.
Our army's in the field. We never yet made doubt but Rome was ready to answer us.
Nor did you think it folly to keep your great pretenses veiled till when they needs must show themselves, which, in the hatching, it seemed, appeared to Rome. By the discovery we shall be shortened in our reign, which was to take in many towns, ere almost Rome should know we were afoot.
Noble Ophidius, take your commission high to your bands. Let us alone to guard Coriolanus. If they set down before us for the remove, bring up the army. But I think you'll find they've not prepared for us.
Oh, doubt not that. I speak from certainties. Nay, more, some parcels of the power are forth already, and only hitherward. I leave your honors. If we and Caius Marcius chance to meet, 'tis sworn between us we shall ever strike till one can do no more.
The gods assist
All
you.
the gods assist you.
And keep your honors safe.
Farewell.
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 I pray you, daughters, sing or express yourself in a more comfortable sort. If my son were my husband, I should freely rejoice in that absence wherein he won honor than in the embracements of his bed when he would show the most love. When yet he was but tender-bodied and the only son of my womb, when youth with comeliness plucked all gaze his way, when for a day of king's entreaties a mother should not sell him an hour from her beholding, I, considering how honor would become such a person, that it was no better than picture-like to hang by the wall if renown made it not stir, was pleased to let him seek danger where he was like to find fame. To a cruel war I sent him, from whence he returned, his brows bound with oak. I tell thee, daughter, I sprang not more in joy at first hearing he was a man-child than now in first seeing he had proved himself a man.
But had he died in battle, madam, how then?
Then his good report should have been my son. I therein would have found issue. Hear me profess sincerely, had I a dozen sons, each in my love alike, and none less dear than thine, and my good Marcius, I had rather had 11 die nobly for their country than one voluptuously surfeit out of action.
Madam, the Lady Valeria has come to visit you.
Beseech you, give me leave to retire myself.
Indeed you shall not. Methinks I hear hither your husband's drum. See him pluck Aufidius down by the hair as children from a bear, the Volsci shunning him. Methinks I see him stamp thus and call, "Come on, you cowards!" You were got in fear that you were born in Rome. His bloody brow with his mailed hand then wiping, forth he goes like to a harvestman that's tasked to mow all or lose his hire.
His bloody brow. Oh, Jupiter, no blood!
Oh, away, thou fool! It more becomes a man than gilt his trophy. The breasts of Hecuba, when she did suckle Hector, looked not lovelier than Hector's forehead when it spit forth blood at Grecian sword condemning. Tell Valeria we are fit to bid her welcome.
Heaven bless you, my lord, from fell Aufidius.
Oh, he'll beat Aufidius's head below his knee and tread on his neck.
My ladies both, good day to you.
Sweet madam.
I'm glad to see your ladyship. How do you both? You are manifest housekeepers. What are you sewing there? Oh, a fine spot in good faith. How does your little son?
I thank your ladyship. Well, good madam.
He'd rather see the swords and hear a drum than look upon his schoolmaster.
Oh, my word, the father's son. I swear 'tis a very pretty boy. By my troth, I looked upon him on Wednesday, half an hour together. He has such a confirmed countenance. I saw him run after a gilded butterfly, and when he caught it, he let it go again, and after it again, and over he comes, and up again, catched it again. Or whether his fall enraged him, or how 'twas, he did so set his teeth and tear it. I warrant how he mimicked it.
One on's father's moods.
Indeed, law, 'tis a noble child.
A crack, madam.
Come, lay aside your stitchery. I must have you play the housewife with me this afternoon.
No, good madam. I will not out of the doors.
Not out of doors?
Oh, she shall. She shall.
Indeed, no, by your patience. I'll not over the threshold till my lord return from the wars.
Why, you confine yourself most unreasonably. Come, you must go visit the good lady that lies in.
I will wish her speedy strength and visit her with my prayers, but I cannot go thither.
Why, I pray you?
'Tis not to save labor, nor that I want love.
Oh, you would be another Penelope. Yet they say all the yarn she spun in Ulysses' absence did but fill Ithaca full of moths. Come, I would your cambric were sensible as your finger, that you might leave pricking it for pity. Come, you shall go with us.
No, good madam, pardon me. Indeed, I will not forth.
In truth, law, go with me, and I will tell you excellent news of your husband.
Oh, good madam, there can be none yet.
Verily, I do not jest with you. There came news from him last night.
Indeed, madam?
In earnest, it's true. I heard a senator speak it. Thus it is. The Volscis have an army forth, against who Cominius the general is gone with one part of our Roman power. Your lord and Titus Lartius are set down before the city Coriols. They nothing doubt prevailing, and to make it brief, wars. This is true on mine honor, and so I pray you go with us.
Give me excuse, good madam. I will obey you in everything hereafter.
Let her alone, lady. As she is now, she will but disease our better mirth.
In troth, I think she would. Fare you well, then. Come, good sweet lady, pray you, Virgilia, turn thy sullenness out of the door and go along with us.
No, at a word, madam. Indeed, I must not. I wish you much mirth.
Well then, farewell.
Yonder comes news. A wager they have met.
My horse to yours. No.
'Tis done.
Agreed.
Say, has our general met the enemy?
They lie in view, but have not spoke as yet.
So, the good horse is mine.
I'll buy him from you.
No, I'll nor sell nor give him. Lend him I will for 100 years. Summon the town.
How far off lie these armies?
Within this mile and half.
Then shall we hear their larum, and they ours. Now, Mars, I pray thee, make us quick in work, that we with smoking swords may march from hence to help our fielded friends. Come, blow thy blast. Tell us, Ophidius, is he within your walls?
No, nor a man that fears you less than he, that's lesser than little. Hark, our drums are bringing forth our youth. Will break our walls rather than they shall pound us up. Our gates, which yet seem shut, we have pinned with rushes. They'll open themselves. Hark, far off, there's Ophidius. List what works he makes amongst your cloven army.
Oh, they are at it.
Their noise be our instruction. Ladders! Ho!
They fear us not, but issue forth their city. Now put your shields before your hearts and fight with hearts more proof than shields. Advance, brave Titus. They do disdain us much beyond our thought, which makes me sweat with wrath. Come on, my fellows. He that retires, I'll take him for a Volsci, and he shall feel mine edge. All the contagion of the South light on you, you shames of Rome, you herd of boils and plagues, plaster you o'er that you may be abhorred farther than seen, and one infect the other against a wind a mile. You souls of geese that bear the shapes of men, how have you run from slaves that apes would beat? Pluto and hell, all hurt behind, backs red and faces pale, with flight and ague fear, mend and charge home. Or by the fires of heaven I'll lead the foe and make my wars on you. Look to it. Come on. If you'll stand fast, we'll beat them to their wives as they us to our trenches. So now the gates are open. Now prove good seconds, 'tis the followers' fortune widens them. Not for the flyers, mark me and do the like.
Foolhardiness, not I.
Nor I.
See, they have shut him in.
To the pot, I'll warrant him.
What has become of Marcius?
Slain, sir, doubtless.
Following the flyers, at the very heels, with them he enters, who upon the sudden clap to their gates. He is himself alone to answer all the city.
Noble fellow, who sensibly outdares his senseless sword, and when it bows, stands up. Thou art left, Marcius, a carbuncle entire, as big as thou art, were not so rich a jewel. Thou wast a soldier even to Cato's wish, not fierce and terrible only in strokes, but with thy grim looks and the thunder-like percussion of thy sounds, thou madest thine enemy shake, as if the world were fevers and did tremble.
Look, sir.
Oh, 'tis Marcius! Fetch him off, or make remain alike.
This will I carry to Rome.
And I this.
A mirren on it. I took this for silver.
See here these movers that do prize their hours at a cracked drachma, cushions, leaden spoons, irons of a duet, doublets that hanged men would bury with those that wore them. These base slaves, ere yet the fight be done, pack up down with them, and hark what noise the generals makes. To him there is the man of my soul's hate, Ophidius, piercing our Romans, Then valiant Titus, take convenient numbers to make good the city, whilst I, with those that I have the spirit, will haste to help Cominius.
Worthy sir, thou bleedst. Thy exercise hath been too violent for a second course of fight.
Sir, praise me not. My work hath yet not warned me. Fare you well. The blood I drop is rather physical than dangerous to me. To Ophidius, thus I will appear and fight.
Now the fair goddess Fortune fall deep in love with thee, and her great charms misguide thy opposers' swords. O gentlemen, prosperity be thy page.
Thy friend, no less, than those she placed highest. So, farewell.
Thou worthiest Marcius, go! Sound thy trumpet in the marketplace. Call thither all the officers of the town, where they shall know our mind. Away!
Breathe you, my friends. Well fought. We are come off like Romans, neither foolish in our stands, nor cowardly in retire. Believe me, sirs, we shall be charged again. Whiles we have struck by interims and conveying gusts, we have heard the charges of our friends. The Roman gods lead their successes as we wish our own. That both our powers, with smiling fronts encountering, may give you thankful sacrifice. Ah, thy news.
The citizens of Coriolus have issued and given to Latius and Marcius battle. I saw our party to their trenches driven, and then I came away.
Though thou speakst truth, methinks thou speakst not well. How long is't since?
Above an hour, my lord.
'Tis not a mile. Briefly we heard their drums. How couldst thou in a mile confound an hour and bring thy news so late?
Spies of the Volskis held me in chase, that I was forced to wheel 3 or 4 miles about, else I had, sir, half an hour since brought my report.
Who's yonder? That does appear as he were flayed. Oh, gods! He has the stamp of Marcius, and I have before time seen him thus.
Come I too late?
The shepherd knows not thunder from a tabor more than I know the sound of Marcius' tongue from every meaner man.
Come I too late?
Aye, if you come not in the blood of others, but mantled in your own.
Oh, let me clip ye in arms as sound as when I wooed, in heart as merry as when our nuptial day was done, and tapers burned to bedward.
Ah, flower of warriors, how is't with Titus Lartius?
As with a man busied about decrees, condemning some to death and some to exile, ransoming him or pitying, threatening the other, holding Coriolanus in the name of Rome, even like a fawning greyhound in a leash to let him slip at will.
Where is that slave which told me they had beat you to your trenches? Where is he? Call him hither.
Let him alone. He did inform the truth, but for our gentlemen, the common file, a plague. Tribunes for them. The mouse never shunned the cat, as they did both the rascals worse than they.
But how prevailed you?
Will the time serve to tell? I do not think. Where is the enemy? Are you lords of the field? If not, why cease you till you are so?
Marcius, we have at disadvantage fought, and we did retire to win our purpose.
How lies their battle? Know you on which side they have placed their men of trust?
As I guess, Marcius, their bands i' the wayward are the Antiates. Of their best trust o'er them Ophidius, their very heart of hope.
I do beseech you, by all the battles wherein we have fought, by the blood we have shed together, by the vows we have made to endure friends, that you directly set me against Ophidius and the Antiates, and that you not delay the present, but filling the air with swords advanced and darts, we prove this very hour.
Though I could wish you were conducted to a gentle bath and balms applied to you, yet dare I never deny your asking. Take your choice of those that best can aid your action.
Those are they that most are willing, If any such be here, as it were sin to doubt, that love this painting wherein you see me smeared, if any fear lesser his person than an ill report, if any think brave death outweighs bad life, and that his country's dearer than himself, let him alone, or so many so minded, wave thus to express his disposition, and follow Marcius. Huh, me? Alone, make you a sword of me, if these shows be not outward, which of you, but if for voces, none of you but is able to bear against the great Ophidius, a shield as hard as his, a certain number, though thanks to all must I select from all, the rest shall bear the business in some other fight, as cause will be obeyed, please you to march, and four shall quickly draw out my command. Which men are best inclined?
March on, my fellows. Make good his ostentation, and you shall divide in all with us.
So, let the ports be guarded. Keep your duties as I have set them down. If I do send, dispatch those sentries to our aid. The rest will serve for a short holding. If we lose the field, we cannot keep the town.
Fear not our care, sir.
Hence, and shut your gates upon us. Our guider, come to the Roman camp, conduct us.
I'll fight, but none thee, for I do hate thee worse than a promise breaker.
We hate alike. Not Afric owns a serpent I abhor more than thy fame and envy. Fix thy foot.
Let the first budger die the other slave, and the gods doom him after.
If I fly, Marcius, hollow me like a hare.
Within these 3 hours, Tullus, alone I fought in your Coriolanus walls, and made what work I pleased. 'Tis not my blood wherein thou seest me masked. For thy revenge wrench up thy power to the highest.
Wert thou the Hector, that was the whip of your bragged progeny, thou shouldst not scape me here. Officious and not valiant, you have shamed me in your contemned seconds.
Oh, if I should tell thee, o'er this thy days, thou'lt not believe thy deeds. But I'll report it where senators shall mingle tears with smiles, where great patricians shall attend and shrug, in the end admire, where ladies shall be frightened and gladly quaked, hear more, where the dull tribunes that with the fusty plebeians hate thine honors shall say against their hearts, we thank the gods our Rome hath such a soldier. Yet camest thou to a morsel of this feast, having fully dined before.
Oh, General, here is the steed we the comparison hadst thou beheld.
Pray now, no more. My mother, who has a charter to extol her blood, when she does praise me, grieves me. I have done as you have done. That's what I can. Induced as you have been. That's for my country. He that has but affected his goodwill hath overtaken mine act.
You shall not be the grave of your deserving. Rome must know the value of her own. 'Twere a concealment worse than a theft, no less than a traducement, to hide your doings and to silence that which, to the spire and top of praises vouched, would seem but modest. Therefore I beseech you, in sign of what you are, not to reward what you have done, before our army, hear me.
I have some wounds upon me, and they smart to hear themselves remembered.
Should they not? Well might they fester against ingratitude and tempt themselves with death. Of all the horses whereof we have ta'en good and good store, of all the treasure in this field achieved and city, we render you the 10th. to be ta'en forth before the common distribution at your only choice.
I thank you, General, but cannot make my heart consent to take a bribe to pay my sword. I do refuse it, and stand upon my common part with those that have beheld the doing. May these same instruments which you profane never sound more. When drums and trumpets shall in the field prove flatterers, let courts and cities be made all of false-faced soothing. When steel grows soft as the parasite's silk, let him be made a coverture for the wars. No more, I say, for that I have not washed my nose that bled, or foiled some debile wretch, which without note here's many else have done. You shout me forth in acclamations hyperbolical, as if I loved my little should be dieted in praises sauced with lies.
You, too modest are you, more cruel to your good report than grateful to us that give you truly. By your patience, if 'gainst yourself you be incensed, we'll put you like one that means his proper harm in manacles, then reasons safely with you. Therefore, be it known, as to us, to all the world, that Caius Marcius wears this war's garland, in token of the which my noble steed, known to the camp, I give him, with all his trim belonging. And from this time, from what he did before Coriolanus, call him, with all the applause and clamor of the host, Marcius Caius Coriolanus. Bear the addition nobly ever.
Marcius Caius Coriolanus!
I will go wash, and when my face is fair, you shall perceive whether I blush or no. Howbeit, I thank you. I mean to stride your steed, and at all times to undercrest your good addition to the fairness of my power.
So, to our tent, where, ere we do repose us, we will write to Rome of our success. You, Titus Lartius, must to Coriolanus back. Send us to Rome the best with whom we may articulate for their own good and ours.
I shall, my lord.
The gods begin to mock me. I, that now refused most princely gifts, am bound to beg of my lord general.
Take it, 'tis yours. What is't?
I sometime lay here in Coriolanus at a poor man's house. He used me kindly. He cried to me. I saw him prisoner. But then Aufidius was within my view, and wrath overwhelmed my pity. I request you to give my poor host freedom.
Oh, well begged. Were he the butcher of my son, he should be free as is the wind. Deliver him, Titus.
Marcius, his name?
Oh, by Jupiter, forgot. I am weary. Yea, my memory is tired. Have we no wine here?
Go we to our tent. The blood upon your visage dries. 'Tis time it should be looked to. Come.
The town is ta'en. The town is ta'en.
'Twill be delivered in a good condition.
Condition. I would I were a Roman, for I cannot, being a Volsci, be that I am. Condition! What good condition can a treaty find in the part that is at mercy? 5 times Marcius, I have fought with thee. So often hast thou beat me, and wouldst do so, I think, should we encounter as often as we eat. By the elements, if e'er again I meet him beard to beard, he's mine, or I am his. Mine emulation hath not that honor in't it had, for where I thought to crush him in an equal force, true sword to sword, I'll potch at him some way, or wrath or craft may get him.
He's the devil.
Bolder, though not so subtle. My valor's poisoned with only suffering stained by him. For him shall fly out of itself, nor sleep, nor sanctuary, being naked, sick, nor fane, nor capital, the prayers of priests, nor times of sacrifice, embarkments, all of fury, shall lift up their rotten privilege and custom gainst my hate. To Marcius, where I find him, were it at home upon my brother's guard, even there, against the hospitable cannon, would I wash my fierce hand in's heart. Go you to the city, learn how 'tis held, and what they are that must be hostages for Rome.
Will not you go?
I am attended at the cypress grove. I pray, 'tis south of the city mills, bring me word thither, how the world goes, that to the pace of it I may spur on my journey.
I shall, sir.
The augurer tells me we shall have news tonight.
Good or bad?
Not according to the prayer of the people, for they love not Marcius.
Nature teaches beasts to know their friends.
Pray you, who does the wolf love?
The lamb.
Aye, to devour him, as the hungry plebeians would the noble Marcius.
No, he's a lamb indeed, that baws like a bear.
He's a bear indeed, that lives like a lamb. You two are old ones. Tell me one thing that I shall ask you.
Well, sir.
In what enormity is Marcius poor in that you two have not in abundance?
He's poor in no one fault, but stored with all.
Especially in pride.
And topping all others in boasting.
This is strange now. Do you two know how you are censured here in the city? I mean of us of the right-hand file, do you?
Why? How are we censured?
Because you talk of pride now, will you not be angry?
Well, sir,
Why?
well.
That is no great matter, for a very little thief of occasion will rob you of a great deal of patience. Give your dispositions the reins, and be angry at your pleasures, at the least, if you take it as a pleasure to you in being so. You blame Marcius for being proud.
We do it not alone, sir.
I know you can do very little alone, for your helps are many, or else your actions would grow wondrous single. Your abilities are too infant-like for doing much alone. You talk of pride, oh, that you could turn your eyes toward the napes of your necks and make but an interior survey of your good selves. Oh, that you could.
What then, sir?
Why then you should discover a brace of unmeriting, proud, violent, testy magistrates, alias fools, as any in Rome.
Menenius, you are known well enough too.
Oh, I am known well enough to be a humorous patrician and one that loves a cup of hot wine with not a drop of a laying Tiber in it, said to be something imperfect and favoring the first complaint, hasty and tinder-like upon too trivial motion, one that converses more with the buttock of the night than with the forehead of the morning. What I think I utter, and spend my malice and my breath not on my iPhone and checking my lipstick. Meeting two such wheelsmen as you are, I cannot call you Lysergices, for if the drink you give make me touch my palate adversely, I make a crooked face at it. I cannot say your worships have delivered the matter well when I find the ass in compound with a major part of your syllables. And though I must be content to bear with those that you say are reverend grave men, yet they lie deadly that you have good faces. Yes, if you see this in the map of my microcosm, follows it that I am known well enough to? Oh, what harm can your Bisson conspicuities glean out of this character, if I be well known enough too?
Come, sir, come. We know you well enough.
Oh, you neither know me, yourselves, nor anything. You're ambitious for poor knaves' caps and legs. You wear out a good wholesome forenoon in hearing a cause between an orange wife and a faucet seller, and then rejoin the controversy of threepence to a second day of audience. When you are hearing a matter between party and party, if you chance to be pinched with the colic, you make faces like mummers, and you set up the bloody flag against all patience, and, in roaring for a chamber pot, dismiss the controversy bleeding, the more entangled by your hearing. All the peace you make in their cause is calling both of the parties knaves. You are a pair of strange ones.
Come, you are well understood to be a perfecter jiber for the table than a necessary bencher in the capital.
Our very priests must become mockers if they shall encounter such ridiculous subjects as you are. When you speak best into the purpose, it is not worth the wagging of your beards, and your beards deserve not so honorable a grave as to stuff a botcher's cushion, or to be entombed in an ass's pack saddle. Yet, you must be saying, Marcius is proud, who in a cheap estimation is worth all your predecessors since Decaelian, though peradventure some of the best of whom were hereditary hangmen. Goody and to your worships. More of your conversation would infect my brain. Being the herdsman of the beastly plebeians, I will be bold to take my leave of you. Oh, how now? My fair as noble ladies, and the moon, were she earthly, no nobler. Whither do you follow your eyes so fast?
Honorable Menenius, my boy Martius approaches. For the love of Juno, let's go.
Ah, Marcius coming home.
Aye, worthy Menenius, and with most prosperous approbation.
Oh, take my cap, Jupiter, and I thank thee. Woo! Marcius coming home.
Tis true.
Tis true.
Look, here's a letter from him. The state hath another, his wife another, and I think there's one at home for you.
Oh, I will make my house very real tonight. A letter for me.
Yes, certain. There's a letter for you. I saw it.
Oh, a letter for me. It gives me an estate of 7 years' health, in which time I will make a lip at the physician. The most sovereign prescription in Gallon is but empiriceutic, and to this preservative of no better report than a horse drench. Oh, is he not wounded? He was wont to come home wounded.
Oh, no, no, no.
Oh, he is wounded. I thank the gods for it.
Oh, so do I too, if it be not too much. Brings he victory in his pocket, his wounds become him.
On's brows, Menenius, he comes the third time home with the oaken garland.
Has he disciplined Aufidius soundly?
Titus Laertius writes they fought together, but Aufidius got off.
Oh, and 'twas time for him too, I'll warrant him that. If he had stayed with him, I would not have been so fidused for all the chest in Coriolanus and the gold that's in him. Is the Senate possessed of this?
Ah, good ladies, let's go. Yes, yes, yes. The Senate has letters from the general, wherein he gives my son the whole name of the war. He hath in this action outdone his former deeds entirely.
In troth, there's wondrous things spoke of him.
Wondrous. Oh, I warrant you, and not without his true purchasing.
The gods grant them true.
True?
Oh, true. I'll be sworn they are true. Where is he wounded? Oh, God save your good worships. Marcius is coming home. He has more cause to be proud. Where is it he was wounded?
In the shoulder and the left arm.
Ooh.
There will be large cicatrices to show the people when he shall stand for his place. He received in the repulse of Tarquin 7 hurts in the body.
Oh, 1 in the neck and 2 in the thigh. There's 9 that I know.
He had before this last expedition 25 wounds upon him.
Oh, it's 27! Oh, every gash was an enemy's grave. Oh, hark! The trumpets.
These are the ushers of Marcius. Before him he carries noise, and behind him he leaves tears. Death, that dark spirit, its nervy arm does lie, which being advanced declines, and then men die.
Know, Rome, that all alone Marcius did fight within Coriol's gates, where he hath won, with fame, a name to Marcius Caius. These in honor follows Coriolanus. Welcome to Rome, renowned Coriolanus.
No.
Welcome to Rome, renowned Coriolanus.
Oh, no more of this. It does offend my heart. Pray now no more.
Sir, your mother.
Oh, you have, I know, petitioned all the gods for my problem.
May my good soldier up. Dear Marcius, worthy Caius, and by deed achieving honor newly named. What is it? Coriolanus, must I call thee? Oh, thy wife.
My gracious silence, hail! Wouldst thou have laughed had I come confined home? That weepest to see me triumph. Oh, my dear, such eyes the widows in Coriolanus wear, and mothers that lack sons.
Now the gods crown thee!
And live you yet. Oh, my sweet lady, pardon.
I know not where to turn. Oh, welcome home, and welcome, General. You're welcome all.
100,000 welcomes. I could weep and I could laugh. I am light and heavy. Welcome! Oh, a curse began at very root on his heart that is not glad to see thee. You are three that Rome should dote on, yet by the fate of men, by the faith of men, we shall have some old crab trees here at home that will not be grafted to your relish. Yet, welcome, warriors. We call a nettle but a nettle, and the faults of fools but folly.
Ever right.
Menenius, ever.
Give way there and go on.
Your hand and yours. Ere in our own house I do shade my head. The good patricians must be visited, from whom I have received not only greetings, but with them change of honors.
I have lived to see inherited my very wishes and the buildings of my fancy. Only there's one thing wanting, which I doubt not but our Rome will cast upon thee.
No, good mother, I had rather be their servant in my way than sway with them in theirs.
On to the capital.
Ugh. All tongues speak of him, and the bleared sights are spectacled to see him. Your prattling nurse into a rapture lets her baby cry while she chats him. The kitchen malkin pins her richest lockroom about her reechy neck, clambering the walls to eye him. Stalls, bulks, windows are smothered up, leads filled and ridges horsed, with variable complexions, all agreeing in earnestness to see him. Seld-shown flamens do press among the popular throngs, and puff to win a vulgar station. Our veiled dames commit the war of white and damask in their nicely gouted cheeks to the wanton spoil of Phoebus' burning kisses. Such a pother. And if that whatsoever god who leads him were slyly crept into his human powers and gave him graceful posture.
On the sudden, I warned him counsel.
Then our office may, during his power, go sleep.
He cannot temperately transport his honors from where he should begin and end, but will lose those he hath won.
And that there's comfort.
Doubt not the commoners, for whom we stand, but they, upon their ancient malice, will forget. With the least cause these new honors, which that he will give make I as little question as he is proud to do it.
I heard him swear, were he to stand for consul, never would he appear in the marketplace, nor on him put the napless vesture of humility, nor showing, as the manner is, his wounds to the people, beg their stinking breaths.
'Tis right.
It was his word. Oh, he would miss it, rather than carry it, but by the suit of the gentry to him, and the desire of the nobles.
I wish no better than have him hold that purpose and to put it in execution.
'Tis most like he will.
It shall be to him then as our good wills, a sure destruction.
So it must fall out to him, or our authorities for an end. We must suggest the people in what hatred he hath still held them. That to's the power he would have made the mules, silenced their pleaders, and dispropertied their freedoms, holding them in human action and capacity of no more soul nor fitness for the world than camels in their war, who have their provend only for bearing burdens and sore blows for sinking under them.
This, as you say, suggested at some time when his soaring insolence shall touch the people, which time shall not want if he be put upon it, and that's as easy as to set dogs on sheep. Will be his fire to kindle their dry stubble, and their blaze shall darken him forever.
What's the matter?
You are sent for to the capital. 'Tis thought that Marcius shall be consul. I have seen the dumb men throng to see him, and the blind to hear him speak. Matrons flung gloves, ladies and maids their scarves and handkerchiefs upon him as he passed. The nobles bended as to Jove's statue, and the commons made a shower and thunder with their caps and shouts. I never saw the like.
Let's to the capital, and carry with us ears and eyes for the time, but hearts for the event.
Have with you.
Come, come, they are almost here. How many stand for consulships?
3, they say, but 'tis thought of everyone Coriolanus will carry it.
That's a brave fellow, but he's vengeance proud and loves not the common people.
Faith, there have been many great men who have flattered the people, who never loved them, and there be many that they have loved they know not wherefore. So that if they love, they know not why, they hate upon no better ground. Therefore, for Coriolanus neither to care whether they love or hate him manifests the true knowledge he has in their disposition, and out of his noble carelessness lets them plainly see it.
If he did not care whether he had their love or no, he waved indifferently twixt doing them neither good nor harm. But he seeks their hate with greater devotion than they can render at him, and leaves nothing undone that may fully discover him their opposite. Now, to seem to affect the malice and displeasure of the people is as bad as that which he dislikes, to flatter them for their love.
He hath deserved worthily of his country, and his ascent is not by such easy degrees as those who, having been supple and courteous to the people, ponited, without any further deed to have them at all into their estimation and report. But he hath so planted his honours in their eyes and his actions in their hearts, that for their tongues to be silent and not confess so much were a kind of ingrateful injury. To report ourselves were a malice that, giving itself the lie, would pluck reproof and rebuke from every ear that heard it.
No more of him. He's a worthy man. Oh, make way, they're coming.
Having determined of the Volskis and to send for Caius Lartius, it remains, as the main point of this our after meeting, to gratify his noble service that hath stood for his country. Therefore, please you, most reverend and grave elders, to desire the present council and last general in our well-found successes to report a little of that worthy work performed by Marcius Caius Coriolanus, whom we meet here both to thank and to remember with honors like himself.
Sacred Cominius, leave nothing for our length, and make us think rather our state defective for requital than we stretch to out. Masters of the people, we do request your kindest ears and after your loving motions towards the common body. To you, what passes here?
We are convented upon a pleasing treaty and have hearts inclinable to honor and advance the theme of our assembly.
Which the rather we shall be blessed to do, if you remember a kinder value of the people than he hath hereto prized them at.
Oh, that's off, that's off. I would rather you had been silent. Please you to hear Cominius speak.
Oh, most willingly, but yet my caution was more pertinent than the rebuke you give it.
He loves your people, but tie him not to be their bedfellow. Worthy Cominius, speak. Nay, keep your peace. For Senator, you have the floor.
Oh, nay, keep your peace. Sit, CORIOLANUS, never ashamed to hear. What have you nobly done?
Your Honor's pardon. I had rather have my wounds to heal again than hear say how I got them.
Oh, sir, I hope my words dispensed you not.
No, sir, yet oft when blows have made me stay, I fled from words. You soothed not, therefore hurt not. But your people, I love them as they weigh.
Pray now sit down.
I'd rather have one scratch my head in the sun when the alarum were struck than idly sit to hear my nothings monstered.
Masters of the people, your multiplying spawn, how he can flatter. That's 1,000 to 1 good one. When you now see he had rather venture all his limbs for honor than one on his ears to hear it. Proceed, Cominius.
I shall lack voice. The deeds of Coriolanus should not be uttered feebly. It is held that valor is the chiefest virtue and most dignifies the haver. If it be, the man I speak of cannot in the world be singly counterpoised. At 16 years, when Tarquin made a head for Rome, he fought beyond the mark of others. Our then dictator, whom with all praise I point at, saw him fight, when with the Amazonian chin he drove the bristled lips before him. He bestrid an o'er-pressed Roman, and in the council's view slew 3 oppressors. Tarquin's self he met, and struck him on his knee. In that day's feats, when he might act with the woman in the scene, he proved the best man in the field, and for his meed was brow bound with the oak. His pupil age man entered thus, he waxed it like a sea, and in the brunt of 17 battles since, he lurched all swords of the garland. For this last, before, and in Coriolanus, let me say, I cannot speak him home. He stopped the flyers, and by his rare example made the coward turn terror into sport. As weeds before a vessel under sail, so men obeyed, and fell below his stem. His sword, death's stamp, where it did mark, it took. From face to foot he was a thing of blood, whose every motion was timed with dying cries. Alone he entered the mortal gate of the city, which he painted with shunless destiny. Aidless came off, and with a sudden reinforcement struck Coriolanus like a planet. Now all his, when by and by the din of war gained pierce, his ready sense, then straight his doubled spirit requickened what in flesh was fatigate, and to the battle came he, where he did run reeking o'er the lives of men as if 'twere a perpetual spoil, until we called both fields and city ours, and he never stood to ease his breast with panting.
Worthy man!
He cannot but measure fit the honors which we devise him.
Our spoils he kicked at, and looked upon things precious as they were the common muck of the world. He covets less than misery itself would give, rewards his deeds with doing them, and is content to spend the time to end it.
He's right noble, let him be called for!
Call CORIOLANUS.
He doth appear.
The Senate, CORIOLANUS, are well pleased to make thee consul.
I do owe them still my life and services.
It then remains that you do speak to the people.
I do beseech you, let me overlap that custom, for I cannot put on the gown, stand naked, and entreat them for my wound's sake to give their suffrage. Please, you, that I might pass this to him.
Sir, the people must have their voices, neither will they bate one jot of ceremony.
Put them not to it. Pray you, go fit you to the custom and take to you as your predecessors have. You honor them with your form.
It is a part that I shall blush in acting and might well be taken from the people.
Mark you that.
To brag unto them. Thus I did, and thus show them unaching scars which I should hide, as if I had received them from the hive of the breath only.
Do not stand upon it. We recommend to you, tribunes of the people, our purpose to them, and to our noble council wish we all joy and honor.
To CORIOLANUS come all joy and honor.
Joy and honor.
You see how he intends to use the people?
May they perceive his intent. He will require them as if he did contemn what he requested should be in them to give.
Come, we'll inform them of our proceedings here. On the marketplace, I know they do attend us.
Once, if he do require our voices, we ought not to deny him.
We may, sir, if we will.
We have power in ourselves to do it, but it is a power that we have no power to do. For if he show his wounds and tell us his deeds, we are to put our tongues into those wounds and speak for them. So if he tells us his noble deeds, we must also tell him our noble acceptance of them. Ingratitude is monstrous, and for the multitude to be ingrateful were to make a monster of this multitude, of the which we, being members, should bring ourselves to be monstrous members.
And to make us no better thought of, a little help will serve. For once we stood up about the corn, he himself stuck not to call us the many-headed multitude.
We have been called out so of many. Not that our heads are some brown, some black, some Abram, some bald, but that our wits are so diversely colored. Mm-hmm. And truly, I think if all of our wits were to issue out of one skull, they would fly east, west, north, south, and their consent of one direction, one direct way, should be at once to all points of the compass.
Think you so? Which way do you judge my wit would fly?
Nay, your wit will not so soon out as another man's will. 'Tis strongly wedged up in a blockhead, but if it were at liberty, it would yourself.
Why that way?
To lose itself in a fog, where being 3 parts melted away with rotten dews, the 4th would return for conscience' sake to help get thee a wife.
You're never without your tricks. You may.
So, are you all resolved to give your voices? But that's no matter. The greater part carries it. I say if he would incline to the people, there was never a worthier man. Oh, here he comes in the gown of humility. Mark his behavior. We are not to stay all together. but to come by him where he stands by ones and twos and by threes. He's to make his request by particulars, wherein every one of us has a single honor in giving him our own voices with our own tongues. Therefore, follow me, and I'll direct you how you shall go by him.
Content.
Content.
Oh, sir, you are not right. Have you not known the worthiest men have done it?
What must I say? I pray, sir. Plague upon it. I cannot bring my tongue to such a pace. Look, sir, my wounds, I got them in my country service from some certain of my brethren, roared and ran from the noise of our own drums.
Oh me, the gods, you must not speak of that. You must desire them to think upon you.
Think upon me. Hang 'em. I would they would forget me like the virtues which our divines lose by it.
Oh, you'll mar all. I'll leave you. No, pray you. Speak to him, I pray you, in wholesome manner.
Bid them wash their faces and keep their teeth clean. So, here comes a brace. You know the cause, sirs, of my standing here.
We do, sir. Tell us, what hath brought you to it?
My known desert.
Your own dessert?
Aye, not mine own desire.
How, not your own desire?
Now, sir, 'twas never my desire yet to trouble the poor yet with begging.
You must think if we give you anything, we hope to gain by you.
Well, then, I pray your price of the consulship.
The price is to ask kindly.
Kindly, sir. I pray, let me have it. I have wounds to show you, which shall be yours in private. Your good voice, sir. What say you?
You shall have it, worthy sir.
A match, sir. There's an all too worthy voice is begged. I have your alms. Adieu.
This is something odd.
And 'twere to give again. But does no matter.
Pray you now, if it may stand with the tune of your voices, that I may be consul, I have here the customary gown.
You have deserved nobly of your country, and you have not deserved nobly.
Your enigma.
You have been a scourge to her enemies. You have been a rod to her friends. You have not indeed loved the common people.
You should account me here more virtuous, that I have not been common. In my love I will stir. I will, sir, flatter my sworn brother the people to earn a dearer estimation of them. 'Tis a condition they account gentle. And since the wisdom of their choice is rather to have my hat than my heart, I will practice the insinuating nod and be off to them most counterfeitly. That is, sir, if I will counterfeit the bewitchment of some popular man and give it bountifully to the desires. Therefore, beseech you, I may be consul.
We hope to find you our friends, and therefore give you our voices heartily.
You have received many wounds for your country.
I will not seal your knowledge with showing them. I will make much of your voices, and so trouble you no further.
God
give you joy, sir. Heartily.
Most sweet voices. Better it is to die, better to starve than crave them higher, which first we do deserve. Why in this wolvish toge should I stand here to beg of hob and dick that do appear? Their needless vouches, custom calls me to it. What custom wills in all things should we do it? The dust on antique time would lie unswept, and mountainous error be too highly heaped for truth to o'erpeer, rather than fool it to let the high office and the honor go to one that would do thus. I am half through. The one part suffered, the other will I do. Here comes more voices. Your voices, for your voices I have fought. watched for your voices bear of wounds 24 odd, battles thrice since I have seen and heard of, for your voices have done many things, some less, some more. Your voices, indeed, I would be consul.
He has done nobly and cannot go without any honest man's voice.
Therefore let him be consul. The gods give him joy, and make him good friend to the people.
Amen. Amen. God save thee, noble counsel.
Worthy voices.
You have stood your limitation, and the tribunes endure you with the people's voice. Remains that in the official marks invested, you anon to meet the Senate.
Is this done?
The custom of requests you have discharged. The people do admit you and are summoned to meet anon upon your approbation.
Where? At the Senate House?
There, Coriolanus.
May I change these garments?
You may, sir.
That I'll do straight, and knowing myself again, repair to the Senate House.
I'll keep you company. Will you along?
We stay here for the people.
Fare you well. He has it now, and by his looks, methinks 'tis warm at heart.
With a proud heart, he wore his humble weeds. Will you dismiss the people?
How now, my masters? Have you chose this man?
He has our voices, sir.
We pray the gods he may deserve your loves.
Amen, sir. To my poor unworthy notice, he mocked us when he begged our voices.
Certainly, he flouted us outright.
No, 'tis his kind of speech. He did not mock us.
Not one amongst us, save yourself, but says he used us scornfully. He should have showed us his marks of merit, wounds received for his country.
Why, so he did, I am sure.
No. And so on.
Now he said he had wounds, which he could show in private, and with his hat, thus waving it in scorn, I would be counsel, says he, a custom, but by your voices will not so permit me. Your voices, therefore, will be granted that here was, I thank you for your voices, thank you, your most sweet voices. Now you have left your voices, I have no further with you. Was this not mockery?
Why, either you are too ignorant to see it, or seeing it of such childish friendliness to yield your voices?
Could you not have told him as you were lessoned? When he had no power, but was a petty servant to the state, he was your enemy. Ever spake against your liberties and the charters that you bear in the body of the wheel, and now arriving, a place of potency and sway of the state, if he should still malignantly remain fast foe to the plebei, your voices might be curses to yourselves. You should have said that as his worthy deeds did claim no less than what he stood for, so his gracious nature would think upon you for your voices and translate his malice toward you into love, standing your friendly lord.
Thus to have said, as you were foreadvised, had touched his spirit and tried his inclination, from him plucked either his gracious promise, which you might, as cause, have called you up, have held him to, or else it would have galled his surly nature, which easily endures not article trying him to aught. So, putting him to rage, you should have ta'en the advantage of his collar, and passed him unelected.
Did you perceive he did solicit you in free contempt when he did need your loves? And do you think that his contempt shall not be bruising to you when he hath power to crush? Why, had your bodies no heart among you? Or had your tongues to cry against the rectorship of judgment?
Have you ere now denied the asker? And now again of him that did not ask but mock, bestow your sued for tongues?
He's not confirmed. We may deny him yet.
And will deny him. I'll have 500 voices of that sound.
I twice 500, and their friends to peace him.
Get you hence instantly, and tell those friends that they have chose a consul that will from them take their liberties, make them of no more voice than dogs that are as often beat for barking as therefore kept to do so.
Let them assemble, and on a safer judgment, all revoke your ignorant election. Enforce his pride and his old hate onto you. Besides, forget not with what contempt he wore the humble weed, how in his suit he scorned you. But your loves, thinking upon his services, took from you the apprehension of his present portents, which most guidingly, ungravely he did fashion after the inveterate hate he bears you.
Lay a fault on us, your tribunes, that we labored no impediment between, but that you must cast your election on him.
Say you chose him more after our commandment than as a guided by your own true affections, in that your minds, preoccupied with what you rather must do than what you should, made you against the grain to voice him counsel. Lay the fault on us.
Why, spare us not. Say, we read lectures to you, how youngly he began to serve his country, how long continued, and what stock he springs of, the noble house of the Martians, from whence came that Ancus Martius, Numa's daughter's son, who, after great Hostilius here was king, of the same house Publius and Quintus were, that our best water brought by conduits hither, and Censorinus that was so surnamed, and nobly named so. Twice being censor was his great ancestor.
Once one thus descended, that hath besides well in his person wrought to be set high in place, we did commend to your remembrances. But you have found, scaling his present bearing with his past, that he's your fixed enemy, and revoke your sudden approbation.
Say you ne'er had done it, hard upon that still, but by our putting on. And presently, when you have drawn your number, repair to the capital.
We will so.
Almost all repent in their election.
Let them go on. Their mutiny were better put in hazard than stay, passed out for greater, if, as his nature is, he fall in rage with their refusal, both observe and answer the vantage of his anger.
To the capital, come. We will be there before the stream of the people, and this shall seem as partly 'tis their own, which we have goaded onward.
Tell us if Phidias then had made new head.
He had, my lord, and that it was which caused our swifter composition.
So then the Volsci stand but at first, ready when thine time shall prompt them to make road upon again.
They are warned, Lord Consul, so that we shall hardly in our ages see their banners wave again.
Saw you of Phidias?
On safeguard he came to me, and did curse against the Volscis, for they had so vilely yielded the town. He is retired to Antium.
Spoke he of me?
He did, my lord.
How? What?
How often he had met you sword to sword, that of all things upon the earth he hated your person most, that he would pawn his fortunes to hopeless restitution, so he might be born your vanquishers.
At Antium lives he.
At Antium.
I wish I had to cause to seek him there, to oppose his hatred fully. Welcome home. Behold, these are the tribunes of the people, the tongues of the common mouth. I do despise them, for they do prank them in authority against all noble sufferance.
Pass no further.
Ha! What is that?
It'll be dangerous to go on no further.
What makes this change?
the matter?
Aeneas, no.
Have I had children's voices?
Tribunes, give way. He shouted to the marketplace.
People are incensed against him.
Stop, or all will fall and broil.
Are these your herd? Must these have voices that can yield them now and straight disclaim their tongues? What are your offices? You being their mouths. Why rule you not their teeth? Have you not set them on?
Be calm, be calm.
It is a purposed thing, and grows by plot to curb the will of the nobility, suffer it and live with such as cannot rule, nor ever will be ruled.
Call it not a plot. The people cry you mocked them, and of late, when corn was given to them gratis, you repined, scandaled the suppliants for the people, called them time-pleasers, flatterers, foes to nobleness.
Why, this was known before.
Not to them all.
Have you informed them, Silence?
How I inform them?
You are like to do such business.
Not unlike, each way to better yours.
Why then should I be consul? My young clouds let me deserve so ill as you, and make me your fellow tribute?
You show too much of that for which the people stir. If you will pass to where you are bound, you must inquire your way, which you are out of, with a gentler spirit, or never be so noble as a council, nor yoked with him for tribune.
Let's be calm.
The people are abused, set on. The paltering becomes not Rome, nor has Coriolanus deserved this so dishonored rub, laid falsely in a plain way of his merit.
Tell me of corn. This was my speech, and I will speak it again.
Oh, not now, not now.
Not in this heat, sir. Now.
Now, as I live, I will. My nobler friends, I crave their pardons for the mutable, rank-scented many. Let them regard me as I do not flatter, and therein behold themselves, I say again. In soothing them, we nourish against our senate the cockle of rebellion, insolent sedition, which we ourselves have plowed for, sowed, and scattered. By mingling them with us, the honored number, who lack not virtue, no, nor power, but that which they have given to beggars.
Well, no more.
No more words. We beseech you.
How no more? As for my country, I have shed my blood. Not fearing outward force, so shall my lungs coin words till they decay against those measles which we disdain should tetter us, yet sought the very way to catch them.
You speak of the people as if you were a god to punish, not a man of their infirmity.
'Twere well we let the people know it.
What, his color?
Color? Where as patient as the midnight sleep, by Jove, 'twould be my mind.
It is a mind that shall remain a poison where it is, not poison any further.
Shall remain. Hear you this Triton of the minnows, mark you his absolute shall.
'Twas from the cannon.
Shall. Oh, good but most unwise patricians, why you grave but reckless senators, have you thus given Hydra leave to choose an officer, that with this peremptory shall, being but the horn and noise of the monster, wants not spirit to say he'll turn your current into a ditch and make your channel his? If ye have power, then veil your ignorance. If none, awake your dangerous lenity. If you are learned, be not as common fools. If you are not, let them have cushions by you. You are plebeians if they be senators, and they are no less when both your voices blended, the greatest taste, most palates theirs. They choose their magistrate and such a one as he who puts his shall, his popular shall, against a graver bench than ever frowned in Greece. By Jove, himself, it makes the consuls base. My soul aches to know when two authorities are up, neither supreme, how soon confusion may enter twixt the gap of both and take the one by the other.
Well,
on to the marketplace.
Whoever gave the counsel to give forth the corn of the storehouse gratis, as 'twas used sometime in Greece?
Well, no more of that.
Though there the people had more absolute power, I say they nourished disobedience, fed the ruin of the state.
Why shall the people give one that speaks thus their voice?
I'll give my reasons, more worthier than their voices. They know the corn. Was not our recompense resting well assured that Nereus did service for it? Being pressed to the war, even when the navel of the state was touched, they would not thread the gates. This kind of service did not deserve corn gratis. Being in the war, their mutinies and revolts wherein they showed most valor spoke not for them. The accusation which they have often made against the Senate, all cause unborn, could never be the motive of our so frank donation. Well, what then? How shall this bison multitude digest the Senate's courtesy? Let deeds express what's like to their words. We did request it. We are the greater poll, and in the true fear they gave us our demands. Thus we debase the nature of our seats and make the rabble call our cares fears, which will in time break ope the locks of the Senate and bring in crows to peck the eagles.
Come, enough.
Enough with overmeasure.
No, take more. What may be sworn by both divine and human, seal what I end withal. This double worship, this where one part does disdain with cause, the other insult without all reason, where gently title wisdom cannot conclude but by the yea and no of general ignorance, it must omit real necessities and give way to the wild, to unstable slightness. Purpose so barred, it follows nothing is done to purpose. Therefore beseech you that will be less fearful than discreet, that love the fundamental part of state more than you doubt the change on, and prefer a noble life before a long, and wish to jump a body with a dangerous sight physic, than sure of death without it. At once pluck out the multitudinous tongue. Let them not lick the sweet which is their poison. Your dishonor mangles true judgment, and bereaves the state of that integrity which should become it. Not having the power to do the good, it would for the ill which doth control it.
Said enough.
Has spoken like a traitor, and shall answer as traitors do.
Thou wretch, despite overwhelm thee. What should the people do with these bald tribunes, on whom depending their obedience fails to the greater bench in the rebellion, when what's not meet, but what must be was law? Then were they chosen in a better hour? Let what is meet be said, it must be meet, and throw their power in the dust.
Manifest treason.
This is a council, no.
The Aediles, ho, let him be apprehended.
Go, call the people, in whose name myself attach thee as a traitorous innovator, a foe to the public weal. Obey, I charge thee, and follow to thine answer.
Hence, old goat.
Will surety him.
Aged sir, hands off.
Hence, rotten thing, or I shall shake thy bones out of thy garments.
Help you, citizen!
Oh, on both sides, more respect!
Here's he that would take from you all your power.
Seize him, Aediles.
Down with him! Down with him!
Weapons, weapons, weapons! Tribunes, patricians, citizens, what ho! Sicinius, Brutus, Coriolanus, citizens!
Peace. Peace.
No, what is about to be? I am out of breath. Confusion's near. I cannot speak. You, tribunes, to the people. Coriolanus, patience. Speak, good Cineas.
Hear me, people. Peace.
Let's hear our tribune. Peace.
Speak. Speak.
Speak. You are at point to lose your liberties. Marcius would have all from you. Marcius, whom late you have named for council.
Fie. That is the way to kindle, not to quench.
You unbuild the city and lay all flat?
What is the city but the people?
True. The people are the city.
By the consent of all, we were established the people's magistrates.
You so remain.
You and so are like to do.
This is the way to lay the city flat, to bring the roof to the foundation and bury all which yet distinctly ranges in heaps and piles of ruin.
This deserves death.
Or let us stand to our authority, or let us lose it. We do here pronounce upon the part of the people in whose power we were elected there. Marcius is worthy of present death.
Therefore lay hold of him, bear him to the rock Tarpeian, and from thence into destruction cast him.
Aediles, seize him!
Yield, Marcius, yield!
Hear me but one word! Hear me, beseech you, tribunes, hear me but a word!
Peace!
Be that you seem truly your country's friend, and temperately proceed to what you would thus violently redress.
Sir, those cold ways that seem like prudent helps are very poisonous where the disease is violent. Lay hands upon him and bear him to the rock.
No, I'll die here. There some among you have beheld me fighting. Come, try upon yourselves what you have seen me.
Down with that sword! Tribunes, withdraw a while!
Lay hands upon him!
Help, Marcius, help! You that be noble, help him down, young and old!
Down with him!
Down with him!
Oh, go get you to your house! Be gone, away! All will be naught else!
Get you gone!
Stand fast. We have as many friends as enemies.
Shall it be put to that?
The gods forbid. I pray thee, noble friend, home to thy house. Leave us to the cure of this cause.
Oh, for 'tis a sore upon us you cannot tend to yourself. Be gone, beseech you.
Come, sir, along with us.
I would they were barbarians as they are, though in Rome littered not Romans as they are not, though calved in the porch of the capital.
Be gone! Put not your worthy rage into your tongue. One time will owe another.
On bare ground I could beat 40 of them.
God, well, I could myself take up a brace of the best of them, yea, the two tribunes.
But now 'tis odds beyond arithmetic, and manhood is called foolery when it stands against a falling fabric. You will hence, before the tag return, whose rag doth rend like interrupted waters, and or bear what they are used to bear.
Oh, pray you be gone. I'll try whether my old wit be in request with those that have but little. This must be patched with cloth of any color.
Hey, come away.
This man has marred his fortune.
His nature is too noble for the world. He would not flatter Neptune for his trident or Jove for his power to thunder. His heart's his mouth. What his breast forges, that his tongue must vent, and being angry does forget that ever he heard the name of death. Oh, here's goodly work.
I would they were abed.
I would they were in Tiber. Oh, what the vengeance! Could he not speak 'em fair?
Where is this viper that would depopulate the city and be every man himself?
You, worthy tribunes!
He shall be thrown down the Tarpeian rock with rigorous hands. He hath resisted law, and therefore law shall scorn him further trial than the severity of the public power, which he so sets at naught.
He shall know the noble tribunes are the people's mouths, and we are their hands.
He shall, sure on it.
Sir.
Peace!
Do not cry havoc when you should hunt, but with modest warrant.
Sir, how comes that you have hoped to make this rescue?
Hear me speak. As I do know the council's worthiness, so can I name his faults.
Council? What council?
The council Coriolanus!
The council?
No!
Oh, no!
No!
If by the tribune's leave and yours I may be heard, good people, I would crave a word or two, the which shall turn you no further harm than so much loss of time.
Speak briefly then, for we are peremptory to dispatch this viperous traitor. To eject him hence were but one danger, in that to keep him here are certain death. Therefore, it is decreed he dies tonight.
Now, the good gods forbid that our renowned Rome, whose gratitude towards her deserved children is enrolled in Jove's own book, like an unnatural dam, should now eat up her own.
He's a disease that must be cut away.
Oh, he's a limb that has but a disease. Mortal to cut it off, to cure it easy. What has he done to Rome that's worthy death? Oh, killing our enemies? The blood that he hath lost, which I dare vouch is more than he hath so many an ounce, he dropped it for his country. And what is left? To lose it by his country? Were it to us all that do it and suffer it, a brand to end on the world?
This is clean Cam.
Merely awry. When he did love his country, it honored him.
The service of the foot, being once gangrened, is not then respected for what before it was.
We'll hear no more. Pursue him to his house and pluck him thence, lest his infection, being of catching nature, spread further.
One word more, one word. This tiger-footed rage, when it shall find the harm of unscanned swiftness, will too late tie leaden pounds to his heels. Proceed by process, lest parties, as he is beloved, break out and sack great Rome with Romans.
If it were so...
What do you talk? Have we not had a taste of his obedience? Our adiles smote, ourselves resisted, come.
Consider this. He has been bred in the wars, since he could draw a sword, and is ill-schooled in bolted language. Meal and bran together he throws without distraction. Give me leave. I'll go to him, and I'll undertake to bring him where he shall answer by a lawful form in peace to his utmost peril.
Noble tribunes, it is the lawful way. The other course will prove too bloody, and the end of it unknown to the beginning.
Noble Menenius, be you then, as the people's officer, masters, lay down your weapons.
Go not home.
Meet at the marketplace. We'll attend you there. Where, if you bring not Marcius, we'll proceed in our first way.
I'll bring him to you. Come. Let me desire your company. He must come, or what's worst will follow.
Pray you, let's to him.
Let them pull out all about mine ears. Present me death on the wheel, or at wild horses' heels, or piled tin heels on the Tarpeian rock, where the precipitation might down stretch below the beam of sight, yet will I still be thus to meet them.
You do the nobler.
I muse, my mother, does not approve me further, who was wont to call them woolen vassals, things created, to buy and sell with groats, to show bare heads in congregations, to yawn, be still, and wonder when one but of the ordinance stood up to speak of peace or war. I talk of you. Why did you wish me milder? Would you have me false to my nature? Rather say I play the man I am? Let them pull all about mine ears. Present me death on the wheel, or wild horses' heels, or pile 10 heels on the Tarpeian rock that the precipitation might down stretch below the beam of sight, yet will I still be thus to them.
You do the nobler.
I muse, my mother does not approve me further. Who was wont to call them woolen vassals, things created to buy and sail with groats, to show bare heads in congregations, to yawn, be still and wonder when one but of my ordinance stood up to speak of peace or war. I talk of you. Why did you wish me milder? Would you have me false to my nature, rather say I play the man that I am?
Oh, sir, I would have had you put your power well on before you had worn it out.
Let go.
You might have been enough the man you are with striving less to be so. Lesser had been the thwartings of your dispositions if you had not showed them how you were disposed ere they lacked power to cross you.
Let them hang.
Aye, and burn too.
Something too rough. You must return and mend it.
There's no remedy, unless by not so doing our good city cleave in the mist and perish.
Pray be counseled. I have a heart as little apt as yours, but yet a brain that leads my use of anger to better advantage.
Well said, noble woman. Before he should thus stoop to the herd, but that the violent fit of the time craves it as physic for the whole state, I would put mine armor on, which I can scarcely bear.
What must I do?
Return to the tribunes.
Well, what then? What then?
Repent what you have spoke.
For them? I cannot do it to the gods, must I do it to them?
You are too absolute, though therein you can never be too noble, but when extremities speak. I have heard you say, honor and policy, like unsevered friends, in the war do grow together. Oh, grant that, and tell me in peace what each of them by the other lose that they combine not there.
Tush, tush.
A good demand.
If it be honor in your wars to seem the same you are not, which for your best ends you adopt your policy, how is it less or worse that it should hold companionship in peace, with honor as in war, since that to both it stands in like request?
Why force you this?
Because that now it lies you on to speak to the people, not by your own instruction, nor by the manner which your heart prompts you, but with such words that are but rooted in your tongue, though but bastards and syllables of no allowance to your bosom's truth. Now this no more dishonors you at all than to take in a town with gentle words, which else would put you to your fortune and the hazard of much blood. I would dissemble with my nature where my fortunes and my friends at stake required I should do so in honor. I am in this your wife, your son, these senators, the nobles, and you will rather show our general louts how you can frown than spend a fawn upon them for the inheritance of their loves and safeguard of what they want might ruin.
Noble lady, come. Go with us. Speak fair, you may salve so. Not what is dangerous present, but the loss of what is past.
I prithee now, my son, go to them with this bonnet in thy hand, and thus far having stretched it, here be with them, thy knee bussing the stones, for in such business action is eloquence, and the eyes of the ignorant more learned than the ears, waving thy head, which often thus correcting thy stout heart, now humble as the ripest mulberry that will not hold the handling. Or say to them, thou art their soldier, and being bred in broils, hast not the soft way, which thou dost confess were fit for thee to use as they declaim, in asking for their good loves. But thou wilt frame thyself, forsooth, hereafter theirs, so far as thou hast power and person.
This but done even as she speaks, why, their hearts were yours, for they have pardons, being asked as free as words to little purpose.
Prithee now, go and be ruled. Although I know thou hadst better follow thine enemy in a fiery gulf than flatter him in a bower. Here's Cominius.
I have been in the marketplace, and sir, 'tis fit you make strong party or defend yourself by calmness or by absence. All's in anger.
Only fair speech.
I think 'twill serve if he can thereto frame his spirit.
He must and will. Prithee now, say you will and go about it.
Must I go show them my unbarbed sconce? Must I with my base tongue give to my noble heart a lie that it must bear? Well, I will do it. Yet were there but this single plot to loose, this mold of Marcius, they to dust should grind it and throw it against the wind. To the marketplace. You have put me now to such a part which never I shall discharge to the life.
Come, come, we'll prompt you.
I prithee now, sweet son, as thou hast said, my praises made thee first a soldier, so to have my praise for this, perform a part thou hast not done before.
Well, I must do it. Away my disposition and possess me some harlot spirit, my throat of war be turned with, queered with my drum into a pipe, small as a eunuch or the virgin's voice that babies lulls asleep. The smile of knaves tint in my cheeks, and schoolboys' tears take up the glasses of my sight. A beggar's tongue make motion through my lips, and my arm knees, who bowed but in my stirrup been like his that hath received an alms. I will not do it, lest I cease to honor mine own truth, and my body's action teach my mind a most inherent baseness.
At thy choice then, to beg of thee it is my more dishonor than thou of them. Come all to ruin. Let thy mother rather feel thy pride than fear thy dangerous stoutness, for I mock at death with as great a heart as thou. Do as thou list. The valiantness was mine, thou suck'st it from me, but owe thy pride thyself.
Pray, be content. Mother, I am going to the marketplace. Chide me no more. I'll mountebank their loves, cog their hearts from them, and come home beloved of all the trades in Rome. Look, I'm going. Commend me to my wife. I'll return consul. Or never trust to what my tongue can do in the way of flattery further.
Do your will.
Way. The tribunes do attend you. Arm yourself to answer mildly, for they are prepared with accusations, as I hear, more strong than are upon you yet.
The word is mildly. Pray you, let us go. Let them accuse me by invention. I will answer in mine honor.
Aye, but mildly.
Well, mildly. Be it then, mildly.
To charge him home. That he affects tyrannical power. If he evade us there, enforce him with his envy to the people, and that the spoil god on the Antioches was ne'er distributed. What, will he come?
It's coming.
How accompanied?
With old Menenius and those senators that always favored him.
Have you a catalog of all the voices that we have procured, set down by the poll?
I have. It's ready.
Have you collected them by tribes?
I have.
Assemble presently the people hither. And when they hear me say, it shall be so in the right and strength of the commons, be it either for death, for fine, or banishment, then let them, if I say fine, cry fine. If death, cry death, insisting on the old prerogative and power in the truth of the cause.
I shall inform them.
And when such time that they have begun to cry, let them not cease, but with a din, confused, enforce the present execution of what we chance to sentence.
Very well.
Make them be strong and ready for this hint, when we shall have to give them.
Go about it. Put him to collar straight. He hath been used even to conquer and to have his worth of contradiction. Being once chafed, he cannot be reined again to temperance. Then he speaks what's in his heart, and that is there which looks with us to break his neck.
Mm-hmm. Well, here he comes.
Calmly, I do beseech you.
I, an ostler, that for the poorest piece will bear the knave by the volume. The honored gods keep Rome in safety, and the chairs of justice supplied with worthy men. Plant love among us. Throng our large temples with the shows of peace, and not our streets with war.
Amen, amen.
A noble wish.
Draw near, you people.
Ugh.
Listen to your tribunes. Audience, peace, I say.
First, hear me speak.
Well, say, peace ho!
Shall I be changed no further than this present? Must all determine here?
I do demand, if you submit you to the people's voices, allow their officers, and are content to suffer lawful censure for such faults as shall be proved upon you.
I am content.
Those citizens, he says he is content. The warlike service he has done, consider. Think upon the wounds his body bears, which show like graves in the holy churchyard.
Scratches with briars, scars to move laughter only.
Consider further that when he speaks not like a citizen, you find him like a soldier. Do not take his rougher accents for malicious sounds, but, as I say, such as become a soldier rather than envy you.
Well, no more.
What is the matter? That being passed for consul with full voice, I am so dishonored that the very hour you take it off again?
Answer to us.
Say then, 'tis true I ought so.
We charge you that you have contrived to take from Rome all seasoned office, and to wind yourself into a power tyrannical, for which you are a traitor to the people.
How? Traitor?
Nay, temperately, your promise.
Fires in the lowest hell fold in the people. Call me their traitor, thou injurious tribune. Within thine eyes sat 20,000 deaths. In thy hands clutchest many millions. In thy lying tongue both numbers. I would say thou liest unto thee with a voice as free as I do pray the gods.
Mark you this, people.
To the rock! To the rock
with him!
Peace! We need not put new matter to his charge. What you have seen him do and heard him speak, beating your officers, cursing yourselves, opposing laws with strokes, and here defying those whose great power must try him. Even this, so criminal, and in such capital kind, deserves the extremest death.
But since he hath served well for Rome.
What do you prate of service?
I talk of that, but know it.
You.
Is this the promise you made your mother?
No, I pray you.
I'll know no further. Let them pronounce the steep Tarpeian death, vagabond exile, flaying Pentalinger, but with a grain a day. I would not buy their mercy at the price of a fair word, nor check my courage for what they can give, to have it with saying, good morrow.
For that he has, as much as in him lies, from time to time, envied against the people, seeking means to pluck away their power, as now at last given hostile strokes, and that not in the presence of dreaded justice, but on the ministers that doth distribute it, in the name of the people, and in the name of the power of us, the tribunes, we even from this instant banish him from our city in peril of precipitation from off the rock Tarpeian, nevermore. To enter our Rome gates, in the people's name, I say it shall be so.
It shall be so! It shall be so!
Let him away!
He's banished, and it shall be so!
Hear me, my masters and my common friends.
He's sentenced no more hearing.
Let me speak. I have been consul, and can show for Rome her enemies' marks upon me. I do love my country's good with a respect more tender, more holy and profound than mine own life. My dear wife's estimate, her womb's increase, and treasures of my loins, then if I would speak that...
We know your drift. Speak what?
There's no more to be said, but he is banished as enemy to the people and his country. It shall be so.
It shall be so! It shall be so!
You common cry of curs, whose breath I hate, as reek of a rotten fens, whose loves I prize as the dead carcasses of unburied men that do corrupt my air. I banish you, and here remain with your uncertainty. Let every feeble rumor shake your hearts, your enemies with nodding of their plumes. Far you into despair, fan you into despair, have the power still to banish your defenders, till at length your ignorance, which finds not till it feels, making but reservation of yourselves, still your own foes. Deliver you, as most abated captives to some nation that won you without blows, despising for you the city. Thus I turn my back. There is a world else.
People's enemy is gone. Is gone.
Our enemy is banished! He is gone!
He is gone!
Woo!
Go see him out at gates and follow him, as he hath followed you, with all despites. Give him deserved vexation. Let a guard attend us through the city.
Come, come, let's see him out at gates. Come, the gods preserve our noble tribunes. Come!